always good and bad players of everything. There's people that excel at things, people that are average, and people that are quite below average. But whenever you do anything, you strive to be the best in whatever field you're in. That's no different in Madden. That's no different than our Madden League, the Sim Madden League. And this is the first ever top 5 players of the SML voted on by its peers, and we are now crowning the top 5. The top 5 players is quite an honor when you look at 32 other players, and to be the number 1 out of the top 5 spot. Now that's quite impressive, because what you have to do, the wins, the blood, sweat, and tears, well, maybe not that, we're playing a video game, but the tears, the beers, whatever else that you may be, controllers you may have thrown at your TV, whatever it is that you endured over the year, to get to be in the top 5 is quite an honor. And you should be honored to be in this list, because this is the very first SML top 5. Without further ado, I give you the top 5 players in the SML.
Number 5.
The Ravens, them 49ers, he's a guy that even though you know what he's doing, he can't stop. He had a heck of run game, and his receiver, Kevin Yeek, I knew he was going to him and couldn't stop him. I think the guy had like 7 catches for 200 yards when I played him.
And that guy knows how to score the ball, knows how to run the ball, and he knows how to throw the ball. He had McWin, and he could drive the ball down the field. Competitive guy, and he's going to be a future champion in Madden 19. You can book that.
So the Ravens, he's another great defensive player with Parsons, Yelk, and McWin. Those 3 combined, his offense was unstoppable. He could hand the ball off. He could throw the ball. He was just a hard player to stop. And his user is incredible. He hits all over the place, and you never know where he's going to be when you throw the ball.
Ravens, them 49ers, they came in number 5 on this list. If you look at their wins and losses and just kind of how their seasons shook out, it's not a big surprise that they came in at number 5 here for more than one reason. If you look, number 1 season, the first season of this cycle, they were 4-12. They bounced back, much improved, 11-5, and a division loss to the Colts. 12-4 the following season, once again meeting up with the Colts, this time in the AFC Championship game. Same result, a loss. The following season, 7-9. The season after that, they were 12-3-1, and another AFC Championship loss to the Colts. They were 11-5 the following season with a loss, one and done, and then a one and done loss to the Dolphins in the final season after an 11-5 journey to get there. The Ravens were oftentimes a top 5, and if I'm not mistaken, first and second for points per game, a top 5 offense. Frustrating player defensively. He's a very good user with the middle linebacker lurking across the middle of the field. And the Ravens are your number 5 list, coming in number 5 on the top 5 players of the SML. Like mentioned before, he was able to force feed his favorite target. Yelk has some receiving records, I believe, 25 touchdown catches, 117 receptions, just top numbers for receiving if you look at those benchmarks that he was able to accomplish. Ravens definitely a force to be reckoned with this Madden, and would not surprise me to see him be back in the top 5 in the following cycle.
Number 4.
Man, he likes to throw the ball deep on 4 verts. He'll stretch the defense, and he's a regular season baller.
Okay, the Broncos, another strong defender. He runs and play the run well. I think every time I played him, I've never rushed for over 50 yards, but I've never allowed less than 150 yards. So his run game is superb.
The Broncos coming at number 4 on our top 5 list, and rightfully so. Season 1, they were 12-4 to be one and done against the Dolphins. Season 2, they bounced back 14-2, and once again being one and done against the Titans. Season 3, 12-4, and another division loss to the Colts. The Broncos were 9-7 the following season, just narrowly missed the playoffs. The following season, 15-1 in the regular season to once again meet the Colts and be one and done against the Colts. The following season, they missed the playoffs at 5-11. In our final season, the Broncos were 13-3, looking to finally get the monkey off their back and maybe make a deep playoff run, to only be one and done against the Dolphins in a 15-10 loss. The Broncos are a frustrating opponent to play. He's known to get big chunks of yardage, jokingly, with 4 verts. And they're also very good at being a user. The middle linebacker, he's very good, very instinctive in the passing game. To play, just a tremendous defender. So the Broncos are definitely a top 5 candidate. But in order for them to push themselves in that upper echelon, that 2 or 3 spot, they're going to have to make it further in the playoffs. Will they? Only time will tell. We'll have to see what the Broncos are able to do in Madden 19 and beyond.
Number 3.
Ooh, me and Woods, we go back to Madden 18. Me and him had a rivalry in the AFC East, and this year, me and him had a couple amazing games. There was one playoff game where I blocked his field goal, and that pushed me on. But he's an incredible offensive player. He's an incredible defensive player. He can make adjustments. Overall, great player. Definitely deserves to be in this top 5.
Hard-nosed. The NFC South to the AFC South. And Titans is probably the best player in the SML.
Probably the most sim player I've seen this whole Madden cycle. He doesn't do anything wrong. He's a well-balanced player. He plays by the rules, and it's always a fun game.
Titans future empire, or Titans Woods empire, I mean, he was 8-8 in season 1 and then won it on against the Steelers. And if you look at this guy, he definitely deserves to be in the top 5. Probably just right where he was at. Voted by you guys, number 3. Like I said, he was 8-8 year 1, won it down against the Steelers. Year 2, he was 11-5, championship game loss to the Colts. Year 3, he was 9-7, one and done in the playoffs against the Ravens. The following year, he was 8-8, missed the playoffs. He was 13-3, one and done against the Ravens. Season after that, he was 12-4, one and done against the Raiders. And then our final season of Madden 18, he was 9-7. Always sim player, all the way down to the very end. And if you look at it, he was voted in the SML honors as the most sim player of this entire league. And he comes in at number 3 here on our top 5. So Woods Empire, number 3 on the list and number 1 in our hearts in terms of being the number 1 sim player. We'll have to see how high he can climb next season on the SML top 5.
Number 2.
Okay, the Falcons, Lawyer Killer. He's a pretty good defensive player. He's one of the sack leaders. He always at the top of the league in sacks and interceptions. A strong all-around player and all-around nice guy.
I haven't played Lawyer Killer that much, but when I do play him, he's a defensive lineman. He's a D lineman, and that's very hard to beat because he can get off the line quickly and get to your quarterback quickly. So it makes it hard to pass the ball. It makes it hard to run the ball because you can't really run to his side because he sheds those blocks. But his offense is what really gets it done. He can throw the ball. He can run the ball. He's just an overall great player.
SML, you got to go with probably Lawyer Killer. Lawyer Killer, he's an SML champion. He does it the right way. Not only does he play competitive, but he plays sim. He's a quintessential SML player.
Falcons Lawyer Killer. He was the number 2 player in the SML, voted by you guys, the league. He was 10-6 in year 1, only to be one and done against the Bears in the playoffs. The following season, he was 14-2, made it all the way to the Super Bowl, only to lose against the Colts primetime. Third season, he was 11-5, one and done to the Cowboys. The next season, he was 9-7, made the playoffs, lost to the Panthers. Season after that, he was 15 wins, 0 losses, and 1 tie, and only to be one and done against the Panthers. The season after that, he was 14-2, and finally won the Super Bowl, once again against primetime. This time he won, and then in the final season, he was 13-2 and 1. A guy that win, lose, or draw, apparently, he's still going to be one of the top players in this league. He was one and done against the Bears, however, in the playoffs. You start talking about a player like Lawyer Killer, you're talking about a guy that's a strong defender. You're talking about a guy who knows how to run the football, not just inside or outside. He can run it inside or outside. He knows how to use his tall weapons like Julio Jones. He's able to hit post patterns He's got a really well-defined passing game and pretty good on defense for a guy that's just user in the defensive lineman. He likes to mix coverages, plays a lot of cover six, a lot of different unique things you don't typically see out of players. But Lawyer Killer, always a privilege to watch or play against the guy, and that's why he's coming in at number 2 on our list.
Number 1.
Okay, Prime. He's the top of the top of the top, the best of the best. Has very few weaknesses. He's a straight sim baller. He's strong on offense, strong on defense. I thought he was pass first, and he proved that he can run the ball just as well as he can pass it. That's the best of the best, the cream of the crop.
So I play Colts fairly often. Obviously, he's definitely one of the best ones in the SML. Me and him always have great games, but his defense is just way better than mine. His user is all over the place. It's hard to get any passes by him. His run defense is incredible. He knows when you're running. He knows the adjustments to make. He belongs in there. His 9 Super Bowls in the SML shows you he belongs there. And his, I think, 6-7 times this season shows you that he belongs there this cycle.
Primetime 000. The Colts, he was the number 1 player in the league, voted by you guys. And if you just look at what he was able to do, go to simmaddenleague.com, take a look at the Hall of Champions, and scroll down to Madden 18. He should have 4 banners. He's got to post that last one, but won the first 3 Super Bowls and then the last one of this cycle. So, I mean, that just speaks for itself. You look at what he's able to do. Season 1, 12-4, Super Bowl champion. Season 2, 13-3, Super Bowl champion. Season 3, 14-2, Super Bowl champion. Season 4, he went 16-0, perfect in the regular season, made it all the way to the Super Bowl, lost to the Panthers. The following season, he was 13-3, made it back to the Super Bowl, faced the Panthers, and lost again, that time on a wide left. Adam Vinatieri iced the kicker, although it's the most clutch kicker of all time, and it was a very short kick. I still think that was bogus. And then if you look at the following season, he was 16-0 yet again. He lost to the Falcons in the Super Bowl. And finally, the very last season, he was 15-1. He played the Bears and wound up becoming the Super Bowl champion to close out Madden 18. Prime is able to do a lot of things that almost seem unnatural to Madden players. He's very good at middle linebacker. You're able to cover a lot of field in Madden, and he takes full advantage of that. Scoping out just about anything. He's able just to kind of key in on what you're trying to do. A lot of guys typically only run 3 or 4 routes. They're trying to force feed certain guys, and those guys wind up throwing 4 and 5 interceptions right to his middle linebacker. They feed right into it every time. I've seen it time and time again. His plays, you know what plays he's going to call. It doesn't matter. He's run them in those key situations so many times that he's able to get the big plays when he needs them. He can do it on the vertical route. I've seen the big plays to Moncrief, the post pattern when he had Hilton. He gets guys out of free agency or the draft, winds up developing guys into great players. He took the Colts team that was, I don't remember what the overall, I'm going to say it was probably 78 or lower team overall, and I think he finished with like a 94 team overall. He was able to develop guys through the draft, free agency. But if you look at what he's able to do, season 1, he took a very poor Colts team and won a Super Bowl right off the bat. And then if you look at the final season, he had a very good Colts team. He was able to shut down a Bears team that was running through the playoffs. A lot of outside running. The Colts were able to contain the run. The defenders were just able to do their job and do it very well. And if you want to talk about what he was able to do without a star Andrew Luck, Nolan Holt came in. Nolan Holt was able to use his mobility. His accuracy was spotty. Didn't really matter. The Colts were able to use a free agent acquisition of Melvin Gordon and run their way through the Super Bowl to win that 4th one of the cycle and the final one of Madden 18. Prime's been the best in the league basically every year since we started, and I had no doubt in my mind that that will continue. And only time will tell for Madden 19, but I can almost guarantee you he'll be the number 1 player yet again. So thank you for all of you guys for tuning in, for watching this long. Don't give up. You have a chance of being in the top 5 next season. Hope no one's too butthurt about not making the top 5, but there was a survey on SurveyMonkey. If you haven't yet, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, iTunes, SoundCloud, Sim Madden League. If you're somehow coming across this video and you're interested in signing up for a league, we do have, I believe we have one spot open at this point in time in our main league, and I could be wrong. They may all be full. We are trying to launch a D-League, but we'll see. This is just the SML top 5 players. Congratulations to this year's top 5, and good luck to the rest of the players in the future. Survey says, who is the greatest player in Madden 18?
Prime. 100% Prime is the #1 player in the SML.
Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like on it. As I mentioned before, be sure to follow us on Twitter, iTunes, SoundCloud for the other podcasts. Be sure to be archiving your games. Get the settings on forever or whatever you can. That way when I make videos using highlights, I'm able to get other games better highlights for these videos, for the podcast, for the future. If you, like I mentioned before, if you did stumble upon the league and you're interested in applying, go to simmaddenleague.com, apply there. We're on Daddy Leagues. We're all over. We're one of the fastest growing CFM communities on PlayStation. A lot of people say that we're the best on PlayStation, and I wouldn't disagree with that. So be sure to like, subscribe, take care, have a great day.